Disclaimer, there will be spoilers mentioned in this video, so if you haven't seen this film and don't want me to give anything away about it, this is your warning to go watch it first and then come back. Also, everything said in this video is just my opinion based off of personal experiences. Feel free to agree or disagree as you wish. After all, this is just a personal critique. Enjoy the video! Hello everyone, my name is Cowan and welcome to another episode of Cowan Critiques. For this week's episode, I figured we spice it up a bit. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys my personal 5-star rated movie. These are some of my favorite movies of all time that I think are just absolutely perfect. Just a heads up, the main reasons why I give these movies 5 stars, it's based off of the writing, the cinematography, the acting, editing, and sound. All of those factors are what make these movies perfect to me, and I just wanted to say that now so that I won't be repeating myself later. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first movie that deserves 5 stars is 2005's Pride and Prejudice, directed by Joe Wright, and I have not seen any earlier adaptations to the book Pride and Prejudice, so this is the only one that I've ever seen. Pride and Prejudice is about a young woman named Elizabeth Bennet who lives with her family in the English countryside. Her family attends a ball, and there they meet Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy, aka these really handsome rich dudes. However, Mr. Darcy gives off an arrogant and rude attitude, which makes this love story an enemies to lovers. Pride and Prejudice is one of the most loved love stories of all time. I mean, there's like a million movies based off of this book, and honestly, any Jane Austen novel is just loved by the public. But I was introduced to this movie at a very young age, extremely young, like infant years. But I was introduced to this movie because of my mom. My mom really loves anything to do with like England. When I was a baby, every single night she would rock me to sleep with this movie playing in the background. And that's why I just love the music so much, because it's like so familiar. This is just one of my all-time favorite love stories. 5 stars. The next movie is Clue the movie, released in 1985 and directed by Jonathan Lynn. So I love murder mysteries, and this one definitely teases your brain like a lot with its clues, and it just has so many hilarious moments. Clue the movie is based off of the board game Clue and follows Wadsworth the butler, Professor Plum, Mrs. White, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, Mrs. Peacock, and Mr. Green, as they have been invited to this really scary mansion by Wadsworth's master, Mr. Body. And the reason he invited all of them to this really scary mansion is because Mr. Body is blackmailing them. And for years, these guests have been paying Mr. Body to, you know, not spill their secrets. But tonight, that is all going to end, because each of them have been given a murder weapon and have been given the opportunity to get rid of Mr. Body. And when the lights are switched off, he does in fact die. However, no one knows who killed him. Also, by the way, they're kind of trapped in this scary mansion, like in a way. Just watch the movie. So yeah, it follows them trying to solve the mystery, and at the same time, more people in the house keep getting murdered. Gosh, guys, stop dying. It gets really confusing, and there are 3 alternative endings to this movie. However, it's really fun. 5 stars. Okay, so next on the list is really silly, and you might think I'm kind of weird for this, for giving this movie 5 stars, because it's a kid's movie. It is the Lego Batman movie. Yeah, you heard me right. Directed by Chris McKay, the Lego Batman movie follows Batman in his ordinary crime-fighting life until the Joker randomly surrenders himself, and that's just all part of his master plan. In this movie, Batman also meets and trains his sidekick, Robin. This movie is also about overcoming your greatest fears and learning to care for others, also by making a change to yourself in order to make the world a better place, aka it follows on Michael Jackson's message in Man in the Mirror, and it's also about letting people help you make yourself better. I think this movie is absolutely hilarious. I quote it all the freaking time. Just ask anyone. But it also has so many great life lessons to teach children. Definitely my favorite kids movie of all time, I think. 5 stars. The next movie, no one is going to be surprised when I say this. The next movie is Iron Lung, directed by Markiplier. Iron Lung is about a prisoner sacrificing himself to go into the depths of the ocean to uncover the mysteries of the creature that haunts the bloody ocean. And it's literally a bloody ocean. Like, it's an ocean made of blood. And the reason he is sacrificing himself is because he was promised his freedom if he survives this mission. Not only was this movie so well done, but it's also because when you just think about Markiplier and who he is as a person and how he created this movie from basically his own budget, it is just so inspiring. Horror is the easiest genre, in my opinion, that you can make / film. And when you're trying to get your foot into this industry, which is extremely difficult to do as I'm going into it, but Mark proved that it can be done with just one set, primarily one character, and it can be done all by yourself. And when Mark first played this video game, he saw so much potential and he took a chance and made a movie out of it. Not to give anything away about my future projects, but I am planning on doing something similar. But this movie is just evidence that I can absolutely do it. Other than all that, I think this movie is just really good. Perfect. 5 stars. The next movie is Letters to Juliet. Directed by Gary Winnick, Letters to Juliet follows a writer named Sophie. She goes to Italy with her fiance, who is a terrible partner, by the way. In Italy, she visits Juliet's balcony / garden and sees all of these women writing letters to Juliet about their relationships and man troubles. I've been there. And they tape those letters to the wall. At the end of the day, a woman takes all of those letters and her and a few other women write all of those letters back, answering their questions, giving advice, pretending that they are Juliet or Juliet is responding. And Sophie decides to join this little group and she answers a letter that was written 50 years ago. After mailing the letter, the owner of the previous letter, named Claire, comes to Italy to meet Sophie with her grandson Charlie. And the story goes on with Sophie, Charlie, and Claire trying to find the man Claire wrote about in her letter, Lorenzo. It's a really cute story, and this is another one of my mom and I's favorites. And it also teaches you valuable lessons about relationships and love. 5 stars. Sticking with our chick flick theme, our next movie is 13 Going on 30. Also directed by Gary Winnick, which I didn't know until today. I guess I really love this director. I don't know. 13 Going on 30 is about a 13-year-old girl who makes a wish to be 30. Why? Because apparently in the 80s, everyone said that being in your 30s is like the best time of your life, I guess. With a little bit of pixie dust, she time travels into her 30-year-old self body, and she lives out the life that her 30-year-old self basically made, where she lives in New York, she works for her favorite magazine, and she is rich. But she starts to learn even more about her 30-year-old self and how, let's just say, a not very nice person. It's a 13-year-old being trapped in a 30-year-old's body. The story is really cute and it's really fun. 5 stars. Our next movie is the 2007 version of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. This one, I really want to go into more detail into the future, possibly with Sam, because him and I love this musical. But here's a brief summary. Sweeney Todd is about a man who gets out of prison and comes back to London to plan his revenge on the judge who put him in prison. Literally, the judge put him in prison because he wanted the man's wife. Okay, it's one of my favorite revenge stories, and I absolutely love the music so much. Sweeney Todd is just one of my favorite musicals. 5 stars. All right, we're getting into the top 3 here. So our third to last movie is Saving Mr. Banks. Directed by John Lee Hancock, Saving Mr. Banks follows the true story of P.L. Travers and Walt Disney developing the movie Mary Poppins. Walt Disney has been trying to convince P.L. Travers to give away the rights for the book of Mary Poppins so that he could turn it into a movie. And this journey literally took 20 years. Neither one of them would give up. Yeah, so Travers is a very stubborn English woman who unfortunately has a very sad childhood, which we do get to see. Her father struggled with an addiction to alcohol. We also get to meet the inspiration of the character Mary Poppins, aka Travers' aunt, who comes by to help Travers' mother and sisters from the grief that they were going through, and she was supposed to make everything better. However, her her father then passes away. So because of her childhood, she later wrote Mary Poppins, gives us the truth about the original story of Mary Poppins and what Mary Poppins is really about. Mary Poppins was never meant to save the children, Jane and Michael. It's a story about her saving Mr. Banks, aka their father. So if we reflect that fact onto Trevor's childhood, Trevor's aunt was supposed to be there to save her father from dying. She was supposed to fix everything, but that never happened. So she wrote an alternative fantasy where her father did survive and lived happily ever after. I really love this movie. It makes me cry every single time, but not for the reason you might think. This movie makes me cry because Walt has a conversation with Travers when he discovers what Mary Poppins is about. They also talk about characters and what a character means to the writer. As writers, we tend to create characters that are either similar to us or that we would just love to death if they were actually real. These characters are more than fictional. They comfort us in our darkest times. That's what your imagination does to you as a writer. It takes you to an alternate world that is beautiful and it just knows exactly what to do in order to cheer you up. This also applies to those who just really like a movie/TV show and find relations to the characters, find them attractive, inspiring, and overall love the universe that someone else created. That's why Travers was so scared about giving away the rights. She was scared about losing her comfort characters that got her through the worst part of her life. I mean, thinking about it already makes me want to cry because it's so true. I really do not know what I would do without my imagination or my characters. Not this, that's for sure. I definitely recommend this movie to you guys if you are a writer or even if you're not a writer. 5 stars. Our next movie is The Help. Directed by Tate Taylor, The Help takes place in Jackson, Mississippi in the 1960s, where a woman named Skeeter strives to become a serious writer. And her first book is about the African American women who are housemaids. She interviews them about their lives and the challenges with being a housemaid in a white home. This movie heavily touches on segregation and discrimination that specifically happened in the 1960s, but it is also a story about having the power to speak up when no one else will. And it's not just about African Americans versus whites, but on both sides, both have the power to make a difference in these difficult times. And they did. It's a beautiful story about the outcasts, and it's my second favorite movie. There's nothing else to say. I love this movie so much. I know it by heart. 5 stars. And finally, our last movie that gets a 5-star rating from me is The Breakfast Club. Directed by John Hughes, The Breakfast Club follows 5 teenagers going into a Saturday detention. John the Rebel, Claire the Prom Queen, Andrew the Jock, Brian the Nerd, and Allison the Weirdo. These teenagers are all so different, but also so similar. As they learn things about one another, they start to form a friendship that the laws of high school would never have expected. And it all took place in one day, trapped in a library. I love this movie because it is the closest adaptation to what high school is really like. Granted, this was made in the 80s, but it's still so true. When you really think about it, nothing has really changed that much. Yes, there are differences. What I'm talking about is like mental differences and societal differences. Nothing has really changed at all in those years, especially when the teenagers talk about their parents, how they were raised, how their friends treat them, their struggles. That's really what makes them so similar to each other, and you never would have guessed it. People are so much deeper than their societal labels, and that honestly reflects on life. You will meet so many people in your life, and you will find something in common with every single one of them. No, it's not the fact that you breathe air or that you're also human. The number one thing you have in common with every single person on this earth is that it's your first time living. You've made mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. mistakes, and you have been treated poorly by at least one person in your life. Our struggles may not be exactly the same. You know, some have gone through worse, but that's also what makes us all so similar. And since we're so similar, why not build each other up? I know that's a really hard ask. But yeah, I love the message behind this movie, so 5 stars. And that's it. That's all my top 10 movies that I give 5-star ratings to. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode. Please let me know if you want to see even more movies that I give 5-star ratings, because trust me, I have a whole lot more. Also, series. We haven't really touched base on series yet in Cowan Critiques, but I am planning on transitioning to that and then going back and forth like movie, series, movie, series, movie, series. But please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of these, and also let me know if you'd like to see all of my 1-star / 0-star rating movies and series, because I got plenty of those too. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode, and I will see you guys in the next film or Cowan Critique. Bye!